one last kvetch before I get on with my day. This Baptist Christian University that I'm going to be attending starting tomorrow, Liberty University. They I talked to them about disability accommodations, and they asked for proof of my schizophrenia, and I sent this diagnosis that I got, geez, like 6 years ago now. And they said, "Oh, can you send a current one from your current medical practitioner?" Yet this is the stupidity and assholeness of Americans, including American Christians. It was a fucking struggle to get my diagnosis. You guys have no idea how shitty America is when it comes to these things, like mental health diagnoses, right? They'll fucking weaponize it if it means chopping off your dick and slapping some fake tits on you. Oh yeah, there you go. Here's your fucking estrogen. But when it comes to being like, no, I don't want to be, mentally ill. Can you treat me? Oh no, no, Goyam, you gotta get a job, buddy. That's what even the most libtardiest libtards will be like. Pull yourself up by your own bootstraps, pal. You're not black or Mexican or a refugee or fuck you. Your life doesn't matter. You're not on Facebook's trending. And that's really apparent right now, right? Like, for me to get my diagnosis, timeline analysis, I had electrocuted myself for whales and trees in March 15th, 2008 on Orcas Island. And I self inflicted three amputations. Despite that, no one in Seattle, right, in the blue liberal state of Western Washington, admitted that mental illness could have even possibly been a factor. That's what assholes liberals are, white liberals especially. That's how fucked up they are. They either knew or they were dumb, right? They're dumb or dishonest. So after that, I had to struggle with this untreated and undiagnosed mental illness. I didn't realize that society was basically in a conspiracy, like Vashon Island, essentially, and Puget Sound, to deprive me of accurate diagnosis and treatment of my mental illness, which to this fucking day, in 2023, right, 15 years later, I still can't get. Fucking nuts. That's how shitty American healthcare is. Just fucking sucks. But then eventually, when I began to realize there is something wrong with me, despite everyone being assholes, but no, there's nothing wrong with you. Everyone is fine. You're fine. Like these aggressive. This is where the lies can be destructive and harmful. I got back to New Mexico, and my mom, when I told her that I was going to try to get myself checked into the state mental hospital, she started crying. And her involuntary emotional response told me that her mother had been in that same mental hospital. So I realized that she had been lying to me the entire time, and she was part of this conspiracy to prevent me from knowing the truth about my mental illness, my conditions. So then I had to file a personal representative request form to gain access to my dead grandmother's medical records and bypass HIPAA laws. And that told me there was a family history of schizophrenia, which means we have the G mutation likely caused by inbreeding. I put that together on my own because I have a hereditary high intelligence from my dad. That inbreeding was the factor. I don't even remember how I put it together. My brain just automatically put two and two together, right, with no direct connections. But then it turns out I was right. And I figured out I was right because many poor communities across the world, but we can look at the Mexican community. That's how they survive is inbreeding. It's the only way because they're poor. And you can mention the aristocracy, and of course the royal lines are also very inbred. But then you get into genetic factors of how some inbred people are, more capable of achieving wealth and finance, etc., and managing these things than others. But Indonesia had the highest rates of schizophrenia per country, and I assume that was because of all the incest on the island from being, not Japan. Like, yeah, whatever. Anyway, so after that, I finally got my first diagnosis, and it was quite the struggle. I had to fight so fucking hard through so much resistance. It was almost like society had deliberately been designed to create mental illness, not treat it, and prevent people from getting diagnosis and treatment. Hence the legalization of marijuana, right? That only increases mental illness. It's not decreasing it. The lies that they tell about how it helps mental illness, yeah, full of shit. But so that was in about, I think it was 2016 or 2015 that I got my first schizoaffective disorder diagnosis because I told them family history of schizophrenia and self-inflicted amputations with electricity in a severe episode brought on by the marijuana I was smoking and selling on Orcas Island. But despite that, I still can't find fucking consistent mental health care and treatment. And after that, I ended up in Ohio, where a roommate was doing the marijuana despite the landlord promising no marijuana on the property. And that was setting off homicidal fantasies about this roommate. So I called the police on myself, went to the hospital, got diagnosed, on a clinical assessment. And that was the second time I had the schizoaffective disorder diagnosis. And then I left Ohio because they legalized marijuana there. So clearly, no one's trying to help me be healthy and not mentally ill by criminalizing marijuana and aggressively enforcing the law, which would prevent so many fucking problems. Right? The only way to interpret that is the police, law enforcement, politicians, government are complicit in not just preventing these problems, but causing them by allowing marijuana, pornography, demographic changes, etc. Like they know what they're doing. They're not stupid, and they don't give a fuck about the lives they're destroying, like mine. So, that was the last time I got diagnosed. Was I think that was 2018, the end of 2018. That's right. This winter between 2018 and 2019. Moved back to Albuquerque in February of 2019, I believe. To where, of course, those same problems are there. Liberal, pro marijuana, pro LGBT, pro Black Lives Matter, Antifa. Like, so none of that was helping my mental illness, of course. That cultural atmosphere and environment was only making it worse. But that's the last time I saw a mental health care professional. It was in the end of 2000, no, the beginning of 2019, right? So it's been 5 years, over 5 years. And these idiots, these Christian Baptist idiots at Liberty University are like, oh, well, if I didn't see it on the internet, then it's not real. It doesn't exist. You're not schizoaffective because I didn't see the proof on the internet. This diagnosis from 5 years ago could have magically changed. Your schizoaffective disorder could have magically went away despite the fact that they're legalizing marijuana, which only makes that fucking shit worse and is increasing it. Yeah, I'm fucking smart because I'm a Christian. This is the stupidity that I have to deal with within hierarchy, like levels of authority and government and academia, etc. Right? Just pure fucking stupidity, just idiocracy. And so I said, you know what? Fuck it. We'll just get rid of the accommodations, right? If I fuck up because of schizophrenia and it causes me to fail, that's my fault somehow because I couldn't get a fucking new mental health diagnosis. Fucking genius, right? And the worst thing is, I was going to a mental health clinic here, and then they switched my insurance without asking me, and that fucked me so bad. There used to be a caregiver, community support person that came out once a week and checked on me. Switched my insurance, he's no longer covered, they're no longer covered. The one who does cover me, who is listed as my primary care physician, I haven't seen them once. I've tried to. I called them, set up an appointment, called the transportation people, set up a ride. Transportation people never call me back, and they fucking canceled or switched the appointment on me. And then I was like, you know what, just fuck it, dude. And they're not mental health. That's just for physical health. I need a fucking prescription to get a new arm thing. So I haven't had a prosthetic, like a new one, for years now. And these fucking idiots are like, no, we're not going to give you disability accommodations. Clearly, you're fucking lying about it. You see the proof on Google.